Greetings and welcome to my Wednesday rambling. It doesn't look quite as bad with the background behind me, but on other backgrounds, my facial skin is it looks rather terrible. This is a product of an Anglo-Celtic family that lives in parts of the world where the sun can be particularly fierce during summer. And as a consequence, over the years, my skin has developed a whole series of precancerous skin cells. And the particular medication, ointment that I'm using at the moment is effective in highlighting the areas where those precancerous cells are existing, and also works to remove them. It's both a off-putting and slightly painful process, and if the sun is actually shining, it becomes quite uncomfortable. So my apologies for anyone who struggles with looking at me this week. Hopefully by next week, or at least the week after, it will be much clearer. But coming back to what's happening at the moment, we're into week 2 of the message series, Living with Power. Last weekend, we heard that Jesus gave the disciples power to go out and to cure the sick and heal those who were ill. He continues instructing his disciples in our gospel reading from Matthew this week, where Jesus tells them that they do not have to worry about what's going to happen. And he uses the example of the birds of the air and says that we're worth much more than any of them. And I suspect that that's one of the beautiful things about God's love for us, is that we worry about so many things, and yet the animals, the birds, the Lord looks after them, and he tells us, aren't we worth much more than any of them? And that's a really wonderful point, to just sit with the power of God that works in our world, that works in our hearts, works in our lives. And as we move forward in our working towards changing our vision from words into actions, we're reminded that so often we can look at the size of the task ahead of us and feel as if it's almost an impossibility. And yet the Lord has told us that if we trust in him and if we believe in his words, then we will have no difficulty in being able to overcome all sorts of obstacles, all sorts of challenges. So as we celebrate our Mass this weekend, as we prepare for this 12th Sunday in Ordinary Time, we're reminded that the Lord does in fact walk with us, provide us with the assistance we need, but most of all, helps us to know just how gracious and how precious his love for us is. And so we're invited to live that same kind of love to others, generously and graciously, as God is living towards us. Have a great week. Look forward to seeing you next week, and pray that your weekend and the message you hear will be a message that invites you to grow and to learn more of God's love for you. Take care and stay safe.